I mean, when you think of the events that are going on at the moment, and then you just throw back to what it must have been like for those young men in 1945, it's just... Imagine taking your guitar with you.
Yeah, imagine that.
What were you thinking? You must have been pretty confident he was coming back, wasn't it? It's just like...
Music is just everything. We're all cheering up here with this. There's no other company that's got this history and this. Got you, didn't it? Got you.
Wow! Mr. Pete.
Mr. Lee.
Now, you've got away with it today a bit, just following me around with the camera, but now this is the treat, right?
This is the treat for me.
This is potentially the treat of the whole week.
I think so.
I mean, going inside the Gibson vault, seeing some of those guitars was incredible.
Yeah.
Meeting Paul at Paul Reed Smith was incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, meeting Carmen was actually truly the highlight. But no, we're in now the Martin Museum.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guitar museum quite like this. There's certainly, it's like nothing, you know, like I say, the Gibson Vault's impressive, but this is...
But it's got nothing on this.
Nothing.
Because this is 190 years this year
Yeah.
Martin has been making guitars, and that history is just,
So,
you know.
Carmen has kindly, is going to show us around. There's a couple of other guys here from Martin you might see in the background. There's at least 100, 150 guitars in here that are all significant. So we're obviously not going to be able to try them all. But Carmen, I mean, this is insane. Whose idea even was it to put the museum together?
This was Chris Martin's idea. It was a massive investment for the company. But he started to realize that celebrating and giving people something to experience when they come to the Martin factory in Nazareth was so important for us. And it was a big investment, but it still pays off to this day, and it's amazing. So
you're right. We shouldn't forget. Of course, this is open to the public, right? You can book a tour, come to Nazareth.
Yeah. See the factory.
Guided tour.
Yep.
So,
yes.
I mean, you're going to have to just. Is this like a chronological thing?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be the earliest examples of what CF Senior did. Ironically, you take a look. That's actually Mark Newkirkin. So you remember, Lee, when we drove through Nazareth and I told you guys to remember the hill at the park, this almost looks exactly like Nazareth, Pennsylvania. So very easy to see the similarities and why the Martins had moved here at the time. Again, you can see New York bound. Remember what I said before, where how crazy New York would have been. Not really a place for...
This is Gangs of New York time. That film.
Yeah,
Gangs of New York.
Is Hudson Street right now,
exactly.
right? So this is that time period.
Yeah. Crazy.
So this is a nylon string
Yeah,
as well, like
a catgut string.
It's real catgut, is it?
I mean,
what even is? It's presumably catgut isn't catguts, is it?
I believe it's something like that. Lee.
Really?
Yes, I'm not sure if it's
so
animal.
when all
or
the cats were disappearing in like 1840,
yeah,
just as
that's
Martin
an
guitars
issue. So I'm
more
not really
popular.
sure. I don't play those strings now.
Wow.
But,
I love the idea that even in 1837 there was this idea that Chris Martin or Mr. Martin would do like his presentation guitars. I guess almost like the modern equivalent of that is like the CEO guitars, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, I mean the presentation,
like
Lee said, the tour is open to the public, but this is not what's open to the public, is to get something like this out. This is just an exquisite piece showcasing what CF could do with the guitar. This one was purchased, I believe, out of the Scott Chinnery collection.
Is this ivory?
Yeah.
The neck would be,
full ivory neck
Holy
from
moly.
1837.
I mean, I kind of, you know, I'm one of these people that obviously firmly believes that, you know,
yes, but that's now.
Bad.
Yes, but that's now.
But no,
This was then. It was a completely, you know, we must not forget history. And,
I know.
And what, you know, of course, people know better now, but you wouldn't have a piece like this. And all of these apparently are buttons for clothes.
Yep.
I was Fred was saying, and then they were inlaying that in here because then that it was for clothes. They used stuff like this, not for guitars. But look at that guitar; it's amazing. 1837, right?
Wow. Yeah, look, we need to.
I don't even know if I can.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's tuned. So, but it's more just a question of just touching.
But look at the details. You might see that better because there are some stuff in here, right? With the
yeah, I mean, you take a look at just the tuning machine itself. Those Stauffer tuning mechanisms. That would have been the most expensive part on the guitar.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
they
Without
got
a
that
doubt.
from the back over from Germany as well, I believe. Some of that
He's
stuff,
right.
yeah.
And then that eventually that high cost would end up, us developing the tuning machine peghead.
And that here would be the most. That's the most well-known, sort of on the front of magazines and
Yep.
all sorts of stuff. That's this
Yep.
guitar here, isn't it?
Yep.
I think there's always been a lot of debate as to
1934.
just how original were things like the Fender headstock when you start to see some of these, you
Six
can
asides and, yeah.
sort of see
But that.
the beginnings of
Yep.
where those
Little
ideas
Fender
came from.
issue in there. Huh?
Well, that's called a Stauffer headstock. This
Yep.
headstock, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I seem to remember a little bit. I can still remember the stuff.
Yep. Then an example of a Renaissance guitar. You don't see much of that,
beautiful,
but it's
isn't it?
kind of a different type of body shape. And you see the case. Those were made by coffin companies.
Yeah. Coffin cases.
So you needed a rough case because these would end up on the back of horses and buggies, and they
Yeah.
would go through quite a
You're
journey.
almost starting to see an OM
Yep.
sort of vibe, aren't you?
Violin.
They make,
Yeah.
they make violins today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like if you read the sign, I don't know. We very
That's
rarely
the
ever
only
see that.
violin
Yeah.
only violin
Yep.
that you've ever found with a CF Martin label on it.
Yep.
Wow.
Then over here,
In the
coming
Pete
through the
Frampton on
time
that.
period a little bit. Remember Cherry Hill?
Okay,
that's the hill we talked
this is the
about,
hill
yep.
we could see from the
Yep.
entrance to
Yep.
the factory. Fine. So at this stage now, there's a real sense that the designs are starting to form what
Yep.
really lasted for the last 150 years, I guess now, maybe more, 180 years.
I mean, the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
important guitar here would be this one, Lee, the 1843.
Right.
The Madame Dugoni guitar, where really would sort of, for us, seal the history that we were the original inventor of that X brace.
Still all nylon string, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the sense of when did the first steel string
So you start to
happen?
see that happen. We're not there quite yet,
Right.
but that ends up happening a little bit later when they start to try to get a little bit more tension, a little bit more tone out of it. But you kind of see we're still sticking to the same type of shapes as we go through here. So this was prevalent for quite a while.
I mean, look, it makes no sense. This is kind of picking up on a conversation that I think we had over lunch with Ramin about maybe Martin trying to do some nylon string stuff. And,
Yeah.
and in my head, you're sort of going, well, do Martin have any heritage in nylon string? I don't know. And it's like, all the heritage
It's a
is in nylon
Spanish-style
string.
guitar,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Spanish-style body shape.
You absolutely should get back into the nylon thing.
Yep.
But here we go. Also, you look at this photo here of this women playing guitar more
Right.
in parlors and that sort of stuff.
That's right.
So they was playing smaller guitars, right? I seem to
No,
remember.
that's a pretty good point. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize that these parlor guitars were primarily played by women.
Yeah. Exactly.
In
It's
America. Yep.
amazing.
That's a band I would like to see.
That's the Bangles.
Is it?
Isn't it? An early cover version.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe this guitar has some unique
Oh, here we go.
history and
that's the one from
heritage
there.
Right.
towards it. So
Oh, that's the one you. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is nuts. Okay. You got 5 seconds to comment below. Whose guitar is this? Obviously, must have been an accomplished guitar player because he had to have the numbers of the frets written down here.
And normally
I'm
on
only joking.
on his guitars now, he would have his name up here, by the way.
He certainly would.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Les Paul's acoustic guitar. Now, is it Les Paul's guitar that he learned to play on?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let him off having the
Hence
numbers
the
on
numbers.
the frets.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in tune.
You can play Wonderwall.
I could.
Isn't that
Do
incredible?
you think this is a conversion then from a nylon string over to a steel string, or do you think this would have been a steel string to start?
I don't know what year that is. I'd probably say it probably was a steel string to start.
Right.
Isn't that wonderful, isn't it? What shape is that? Is that a 5? What
It's
is
like
it?
a 12,
Is it,
29.
Yeah.
it's hard to just, when you've been around a factory and you've seen
Can
so
I-
many amazing
Oh.
guitars, it's hard to just go, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, what's that? I just need to let the significance of the fact that I've just strummed a chord on Les Paul's actual guitar that he learned to play on.
This
I'm
is-
sure that won't be the last crazy moment here.
This is funny because the neck has got that V shape, the OM28V series, right? It's got that sort of
V for vintage.
V for vintage, yeah, absolutely. Can we play it? Wow. And amazing, it still plays nice. It's really cool. Does it say something here? Or is it just the light and the wood? It's just the wood. That's incredible.
Look at the tools here as well. I mean, these are properly out the archives. Wow.
You could see right there would be the picture.
Oh yeah, that's where we were this
earlier.
morning.
Yeah, North Street.
The North Street factory. Do you know Andertons had a store on North Street in Guildford? So there you go.
Coincidence.
Absolutely. Probably every town has a North Street in fairness, but
a lot of different things. I mean, he was an accomplished instrument builder of different types. It's a zither table.
zither.
Yep.
Zither and Dether.
And also, too, Lee, we believe that case of tools would have been the case of tools he brought with him over from Mark Newkirk.
No way.
Yep.
That's just insane. This is, I can't
So
believe.
those guitars are built, but with that, you know?
It's just incredible. 190 years.
I
blows
don't
my
think
mind.
any
It blows
other,
my
well,
mind.
certainly none of the other real heritage guitar manufacturers have managed to keep this. You know, I think the closest almost the closest I feel was when we went to Leo Fender's office at G&L, and they've done quite a good job of preserving all of the stuff that he would use. But even that, you're only going back 60 years. You know, you're not going back 190 years.
But I think the fact that they kept that is it's going to be great in, say, 40 years' time, 50 years' time.
Definitely.
You know. That's another
This
Martin.
was C.F. Martin III.
Yep. Chris's grandfather.
I love we should come to work in bow ties more, I think.
Go for it.
It was
Interesting little
I think it
fact
sets the
here.
tone.
Did an extensive interview with Martin Guitars and the company for a magazine article, but was shocked when it ran in Penthouse
Oh
magazine.
yeah, I think
back
I've got
to
that
back,
edition actually. I only bought it for his interview, obviously.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, here we go. Mandolins, ukuleles.
So tell me about the mandolin thing in terms of,
Man.
because I think Gibson were talking about when we were there that they were sort of going to get back into the mandolin thing.
Yeah.
Is
They
that
are,
something
yeah, they
that
are.
you guys are?
I mean, like early 1900s is when these were produced, and I think again there maybe have been a few years where we produced more mandolins than guitars when that was happening. But I think the real issue is they're more like A-style mandolins that we made, so they're not the typical F-style that Gibson does,
Yeah.
which is so
Yeah.
famous. So it wasn't anything that really took off for us.
Right.
I think when I hear them play, they remind me of like a Celtic music type of thing,
Yeah.
and not really what's popular in America. The bowlbacks as well; those are just amazing pieces just to look at, the ornate and the craftsmanship that's
Well,
put
you see
into
some
that.
of the presses or
Yep.
that they would have used to. It looks like
Yep.
an enormous coconut or something, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
how they
big
would have
shoe,
pressed the bodies on the back. But yeah, I don't know. But I keep saying I feel like because I kind of know my way roughly around a guitar, I ought to be able to pick up a mandolin or a uke or whatever or a banjo and get a tune out of it. But they're quite a different instrument, aren't they? It's quite a. Look at that. I mean, the necks are so small. You see that Sierra Dawn Hull, is it Hull?
Yeah.
Dawn? Crazy player on
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
She's doing super well now, isn't she?
Love the little snowflake inlays. Snowflake inlays? What inlays? Snowflake inlays. That's difficult to say. Which you're still using in lots of the guitars from back then.
Do you
I love it.
like the harp mandolin? That's a pretty cool instrument,
moon.
isn't it? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Like moon.
Ukes.
I'm just blown away by all of this.
Yeah.
Dots, look at the inlays here, and the dots and everything. Man.
Has there ever been a time in the Martin history where you've not made ukuleles?
Not that I'm aware of, Lee.
Style 5.
I tell you what, it came close a few points where we were going to stop producing them, especially in periods where we need more guitar production.
Right.
But Chris just stuck it. And I know I was involved in some conversations where he's like, if you give it up, you're never going to get it back. So the decision was made to keep making them. Obviously, mandolins weren't our thing, but ukuleles, we still saw a lot of them.
I'm not familiar, but the Richard Conter ukulele and his stage name was Ukulele Dick.
Yep.
It's just,
Well,
there you go.
the bouncing flea.
Absolutely.
Slab
It's
of the
great.
bass. And that's again from North Street, this picture there, look at that.
Yep.
I love it. So cool. Is this photo from taken in at North Street as well? This 1915 in front of the door or something, must be.
Oh man. Look at this.
Are we still using ivory here?
I guess
Yeah.
there must be.
It
yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well then
I'm not
again,
su-
piano.
I'm
You're
not sure
still
that
in the
was-
early
I
1900s.
was about to say, I don't think that was even banned until like the 70s or
Yeah,
something, was
yeah,
it? So
yep.
you had, it was you know, regardless of the morality, it was certainly legal to use it up until, you know, relatively recently. These are beautiful, aren't they? So we got 0045s.
028s. So now the shapes are starting
Yeah,
to get bigger.
the shapes are starting to form, aren't they, into what we know and love now.
No, shapes are getting bigger for sure.
Yep.
They want more tone.
More punch
Look
when
at
they
the
start
harp
playing with
guitar.
bands.
Look at the bridge on the harp guitar. It's just lunatic, isn't it? I love the. Well, I wonder if that's just. No, that can't be. That's been kind of designed like that, in that the strings don't even sit over the fretboard on the edges.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Super impressive.
And in the inlays as well. In 1890. Look at this.
Yeah, how are they even doing that? I mean, that's just
It's
a
all by
guy.
hand.
That's a guy with a tiny chisel, right? Just chiseling out the how the inlay's going to go in. I mean, that's artisan lunatic level, isn't it?
People are too lazy today to do that, aren't they?
Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's it. Right.
The 030.
Yeah.
Look at this one, signed by all these people. What's the story here?
Lou Gehrig. They're all baseball players, aren't they?
When Al Smith
Baseball Hall
was
of
running
Fame.
against Herbert Hoover in the 1928 presidential election, this 0018 was used as a promo item and signed by many of Smith's famous supporters. Most noticeable ones are Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.
Is that where the chocolate bar gets its name from?
I don't know.
Come with me, come on. Oh, Perry Bechtel, I know him. Perry Bechtel, 14 fret.
Okay, like now we're all getting a bit cowboy. This is kind of for me where my sort of, you know, my sort of Martin.
Yeah, but the story about Perry Bechtel
Story.
was that he was the one who wanted a bit more because he was playing with those,
Thank you very much.
you know, bands. Yeah, and he wanted a bit more sound, so he asked for a 14 fret neck joint and
So
guitars to
what
get
this
some
is
more.
this is a guy called Perry Bechtel, is it?
Bechtel.
Bechtel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not familiar with him. Roy Rogers, obviously, I kind of feel like he was the
He's the
original
man
sort of
behind it,
singing
isn't he?
cowboy.
Yeah, he's the
Look at
OM.
the
One
tuners.
of the longer scaling,
Yeah, longer scale length, more tone.
or the triple O. So they did the OM, they called it orchestra.
Yeah. He played it with the orchestra, so he said it was the orchestra model.
Sounds unbelievable.
It's insane.
I mean, you're the player,
No,
but
I'll just play Wonderwall, you know.
but it's
That's what I'm
just.
gonna do. It's there, isn't it? The sound is there.
It's like literally just
So
grown
light
men
as well.
crying
And again, it's got
in
the
here.
neck. It's got that V-neck on it, or the Vincent's neck.
What are all the little are these like stencils or something down the bottom here, or etches of guitars?
I think they were
It looks like an etching.
No, they were for the catalogs.
Oh, okay, like print stamps for catalogs. That's why they're all in reverse, isn't it?
Correct.
Amazing.
So you're an 18 guy, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is the big. This is the big one.
This is the one they made for Ditson. This is the first.
The Ditson, yeah. Yeah, that's the Ditson.
1929. This is the real first dreadnought stuff.
Oh, it's light. It's a Canon, that's what it is. That's impressive. Feel that neck again.
But
Tell me
again,
it doesn't feel like a neck.
Don't you think? Don't you think that just the sheer fact that this is nearly 100 years old now, in another
It's insane.
5-6 years' time,
Yeah.
this will be 100 years old.
Oh,
Look at the
They
bass
all
end
hit.
on it.
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I'm not doing it.
I remember the Ditsons came out when I worked with you. They did a redo the Ditson model, and it is just a humongous sounding guitar.
Loudest guitar.
Yeah.
It doesn't weigh anything, does it, this thing?
Well, the
It's like
91
air.
45s.
Wow.
What is this?
Big
You know,
money guitar there.
one of the 91 pre-war D45 guitars.
Thank you so much. I mean,
One of 19. One of 19.
this for me,
96 figures.
but this for me is, you know, I
Oh. 400,000.
and it's a D45.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's just a chord monster. It just eats the chords, isn't it?
Neil Young must be still
All that stuff, yeah. I close my eyes and it's just you
Did you pull back the curtains? We were talking about this again just over lunch about how in the UK, how much more obsessed we are with electric guitars than we seem to be with acoustic guitars. And I know a D45 now is going to set you back £10,000 in the UK, but I still sort of feel like this is, you know, if you're a guitar player and you just want the best acoustic guitar and you want a bit of bling and, you know, some heritage and the whole thing, this is what you buy, right?
Yeah, D45.
Almost sounds like a 12-string. There's so much.
Well, it's Diane Poncho said the thing that Martin has the sound, and they built a guitar around it. You know, we talked about that yesterday, and
It's piano.
it's a piano thing. It's just something magical. Whether that comes from all of this and brought it from Germany, you know, that's just the thing. It's on. Nobody else can replicate it, in my opinion.
What did you say this was? 1940?
Pre-war, 42.
Mid-war.
Yeah. With gold hardware. Eh? And now you ruined it.
Now I've ruined it, haven't I? I have to buy it. Yeah, thank you so much.
It was like, you know,
Wow.
there's 91 of them made in total. I think we know we're like 86
Is
or
that
86.
all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
80, there's a couple out there that are unknown. We don't know where they are. So if somebody brings one in for trade-in leave at Andertons,
Did you
Can you
hear that
imagine?
here? If you got, you know, if your granddad has got one of those sitting in the attic,
Yeah.
then you're one lucky.
So we got a 1934 0045.
Yep.
Anything with.
So these are different inlays from a 45, though, aren't they? They're more akin to a
Yep.
42, right?
Yep.
Oh, the hexagons on the 45s, yeah. Yeah. That's my favorite inlays on with the snowflakes. I love that. It's so beautiful. And with the binding around the neck and into the body.
Triple, the triple O, I think, because the Dreadnought got so copied, I think people often just they just focus on Dreadnoughts and they forget. Well, not forget, but they don't take the time to go. So what's on a triple O? And I still think I know over the last 2 or 3 years of doing the videos with Ben Smith on the channel. I think my favourites have always been the triple O for that just.
Yeah. There's the scale length, triple O and OM,
The
isn't it?
articulation, I think, you know, just the fact that it's not too bass heavy.
It's a wonderful guitar. It records beautifully as well. Is that really from 1932, this thing here? That's from 1930. Look at it.
It's like new, isn't it?
I'm just
must admit,
gobsmacked.
I still.
All of this. It blows
You can,
my
do
mind.
you know what? I think you can. Maybe I'm completely making this up, but I see some. When we saw that electric guitar earlier on from Martin, I kind of see where some of those
absolutely.
get some of the shape, the squarer shoulders.
That's been played, that, hasn't it?
Nice.
From art to top.
Look at the fretboard with the sort of the inlay down the striped inlay down the fretboard. That's really nice. Should do that again.
It's almost like pinstripes.
Works. Yes, it
And a
is like a
suit, an old
pinstripe suit.
30
isn't it?
suit,
Yeah,
pinstripe 30
absolutely.
suit. Oh, where are we next here?
Couple interesting guitars over here for sure.
Oh, I can
That
see a
might-
guy
that's
here.
that's got a nice little story to it.
Oh, modified by Leo Fender.
Ah!
Wow. So what was Leo trying to do with this then? Because this is well before he was making. Okay, that's right. So Leo's background obviously was in his repair shop, working with acoustic guitar players, trying to fit pickups to them, amplification for those, so they could play the bigger gigs. And I suppose that's what inspired the Solid.
Yeah,
But
and
so
this is the first, we believe, the first attempt at Leo Fender to amplify a guitar.
Amazing. So that plate is the pickup essentially, is it? That's just completely bonkers.
It's like Elon Musk.
It's definitely got some Elon Musk about him. So Bill Monroe definitely got some Elon Musk about him.
Maybe it is Elon Musk. Maybe he lived back then. And
Well,
it was just a
it
different-
wouldn't surprise me if he's invented a time machine and was actually a successful bluegrass guitar player
I remember these.
back in the day.
The Elvis Presley leather covering. I managed to fit that on
Everyone's
my body.
laughing in the background, but once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No.
That's why. Oh, what a time to be alive. This is, we were all,
We all
this is
insignificant.
amazing. I love these kind of leather covers that were sort of fashionable to put on guitars at the time.
It just killed the sound, though, didn't it? It's
But
just
what,
like
was
a-
this, did you play it with the cover on it, or was the idea the cover was just there to stop
Elvis,
it
Elvis
getting
played
dinged
with
up?
the cover on, didn't it?
It's
Yeah, yeah.
country. It's cowboy.
And
Yeah.
is it that sense of like, you know, like when your drummers are on top of the pops, they have the pads to stop it making a noise? Was it literally to stop the guitar really making a big noise?
It's
Or?
just like having leather pants on, isn't it?
Is it?
Rock and roll. And beautiful, that is. 2000. So these are slightly newer guitars, these, aren't they?
Wow, not by much though. I mean, it's kind of. Oh, this. Sorry,
some
this
of them,
one in
and
the
that's
front
not,
is.
that's 55. 55.
Yeah. Obviously, some Elizabeth Cotton, some Freight Train. So this is one of her. Okay, she's a left-handed guitar player with a right-handed guitar.
A tenor.
It's just amazing. So yeah, some of these are modern sort of repros, aren't they?
Oh, 63 here.
That's just mad. isn't it?
65. Pickups in it.
Wow, yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
That's
so now
some-
we're getting into, you know, the late
Yes.
60s and 70s. So all that stuff we saw before is here.
they've made their way in as well.
Yep.
Of course.
There we are. Here it is.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
That's super cool, man.
What's wrong with that?
I think
it's
that's
Frank Brothers.
super
Looks a bit
duper
like a
duper
Frank Brothers,
cool.
doesn't it? With the sort of symmetrical
does.
kind of horns. Maybe not the headstock so much.
Or like a
but
Coronado or something.
Yeah.
Today, people will.
They would go
love
crazy
this one.
for
Go
that.
crazy for that with the headstock and everything. Look at that. I seem to remember looking like that as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
that's true.
100%.
Brilliant.
I had the same hair, that's for sure.
1969 D45.
Yep.
Who wouldn't want to own that? Oh yeah, Martin amps.
George Harrison, he looks like my dad, I'll tell you.
What was Blackbird written on?
D28.
Was it a D28? Was
Wasn't it? Yeah. and here's the fire. That's St. Martin as well, isn't it? Yeah. He's still playing the original one. Wow.
So D35. 'Cause I've got a D35. What was the story behind the three-piece back? Just couldn't get
I think
the
to save wood to save.
billets of
Well,
to make the two-piece.
Actually, there would have been a conversion. It started when we couldn't get the Brazilian rosewood. Okay, so eventually we would make the changeover to the D28 East Indian rosewood, but there would be a lot of pieces of wood left in the factory that could be
Yeah.
made out of smaller pieces. So that three-piece would allow us to use some of that wood.
Because I think it's one of those slightly confusing numbering systems of, you know, D35 implies higher number to D28, therefore better.
Yep.
But it doesn't really denote that, does it?
Well, you could say the bracing itself is different. So you go from 5/16 to quarter inch. That's another delineation in the 35. You also don't have a diamond. I mean, there's subtle things to it, Lee,
bound
but
fingerboard.
yeah, bound fingerboard's another one too. So there are differences, but you're right. It's not as black and white as a
Yeah.
D45 and a
Yes.
D28,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak.
Oh, you got a DX7. Now we're talking.
I used to have one of those.
That was-
Oh, peacock.
Oh,
Wow.
man, that's crazy inlay. What was the peacock thing for?
700,000.
You really it seemingly has gone from like 750,000
Yeah.
guitars not that long ago to 2 million guitars not that long ago. So this is like, you really get a sense of how much production has ramped up over the last 20 years.
If you think about it, Lee, Mexico and coming into our serial number system had a big effect on that. Yep.
That's Kurt Cobain.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yep.
I mean,
So-
you have to touch it. I mean, it's like, you're going to have Nirvana fans queuing around the block just to
picture of
shake
it
your
with
hand
his-
now, Pete.
Is that that's the guitar?
Holy moly.
What about that?
Don't
That's
play
got
it.
a much. Don't play it.
Thought you... Did he
Wow.
own it in a relatively wrecked condition, or do we think he's
Oh, yeah.
responsible?
No.
So yeah, so he's bought it
was his
really
girlfriend's.
beaten up.
It was his girlfriend's guitar.
Right.
Okay. Well, it's not
Doesn't
too,
that?
but
Yeah, but it doesn't.
that's
Again,
just history, isn't it?
it's the same as like playing Les
Yeah.
Paul's guitar. You just another, you know.
This is very surreal.
Absolutely.
It's like a
iconic.
dream to be able to touch these
And
things.
all the, you can't really see because where his hand is, but the bridge pins are obviously, these were all how it was when he had it.
Yeah, it must have been. The
Imagine. Can you imagine, again,
and the neck. This is what we talked about with all the relicking. When they do a really good job, they'll do this to the neck, and the neck is completely smooth on somebody. Go, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be beaten up. Wow.
you didn't have Eric's 0028 in there, did you? Oh well, just saw the sign and thought,
We don't have that, Lee, but we do have a guitar that we loaned out to Courtney Love, who she just decided one day to hit somebody on the stage with it. But
oh, what are the MTV
quite a
things?
tumultuous.
Yeah.
Hole. Yeah.
Yep.
Cobain's
There's some
guitar.
ninja
What?
stuff in there, isn't there? Oops, banging on the glass. Let me,
Yeah.
I just,
Holy shit box.
I will obviously never
Sorry
get
for
to,
my language.
I will obviously never get to shake his hand, but you know, have to say he inspired a few guitar players to pick the guitar up and give it a try, didn't he?
In that short period of time that he was around, it's probably inspired more people than we will ever, recognize. And that was such a short period of time that they were. Yeah.
There was that turning point, wasn't there, at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, probably more beginning of the 90s, where guitar playing had become so virtuoso dominated that I think kids were just like, there's no point even trying to learn because I'm never going to be. And then you had
MTV Unplugged.
Kurt.
Bang. I would imagine was a massive
Well,
turning
that
point
too.
for acoustic guitars. Huge. Right? Clapton.
Put us behind production 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Like that.
that was your Beatles moment, wasn't
That
it?
was,
Yeah.
modern day.
And because you had Clapton, you had, Brian Adams did some stuff. Did they use?
Lots of people.
Yeah.
Lots of people just used it, and it just kept coming up. Unplugged
Stone
thing.
Temple Pilots.
Yeah,
Did quite
yeah.
a few good ones.
Love that band.
This is what we need again, isn't it? It's that kind of revival of that kind of that live moment where people go back and play all their songs. Because a good song can be played on acoustic guitar. It doesn't happen, if it's a good song written on an acoustic guitar, it's just
If ever you just wanted to
unbelievable.
scientifically conclude that the older a guitar gets, the better it sounds, you just need to basically
Go
around
in here and walk around.
Yeah, because these, doesn't matter even it looks like it's beaten to shit. It's still,
The guitar was also used for a while by Elliott Smith.
really.
Same guitar.
Yeah, it's
The
massive,
Canon,
isn't it?
Play it. No, don't do it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I wouldn't disrespect him. He don't care, but
Wow. It's blowing my mind, this. It really is.
We've got John Mayer prototype in here, Pete.
Look at him there.
Mark
baby
Knopfler,
face.
signature edition.
Baby face.
That's nuts, isn't it? When you're, I mean,
It's willing.
how much back and forth is there with an artist like John Mayer to get a guitar right with him?
A lot. I think
Just-
that's a question for Fred. But,
I think John Mayer is one of the more,
Yeah.
as far as I can understand, one of the more involved people in the process.
Very, very involved.
Yeah,
He knows what he likes.
yeah. Which is important, like this book.
I agree.
You know,
No, it's good. It's got a point of view. It's
Yeah.
much easier to work with people with point of view.
Exactly, and for an artist has to be happy with the end result. Otherwise, what's the point in having something that you put your name on? Because then you never use it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's happened too.
Classical guitar for Sting.
There you go.
I'm guessing that never made it into.
no, we made him.
You did you?
Yep.
Wow. Why don't I remember that? That would have been what all that sort of Fields of Gold kind of era.
Yep.
What have we
That's
got over
cool.
here? There's another cool guitar.
Yeah, this is a good one.
You might find this interesting.
We find everything interesting.
So here's 1933 045. This guy took it to Normandy, on the beach in Normandy for D-Day.
No.
Yeah.
I must admit,
Survived.
that's properly.
Thought you might find
That's
that
a bit
interesting.
weird though, isn't it?
Okay.
You go it. I'm Danish. We weren't involved. We just hit.
I mean, when you think of the events that are going on at the moment, and then you just throw back to what it must have been like for those young men in 1945, it's just. Wow. Imagine taking your guitar with you.
Yeah, imagine that.
A guitar like that.
Any guitar.
Not a cheap guitar.
What were you thinking? You must have been pretty confident he was coming back, wasn't it? It's just
Well, or maybe that was his. Maybe it was his prized possession, and he didn't want to leave it behind. Maybe he just wanted to take it with him, and maybe he wanted to make people happy. Play the guitar for people.
Maybe if I'm
even
going to-
conflict is made
Yeah.
better with music.
Yeah, music is just everything. We're all cheering up here with this.
Maybe he thought, if this is my last day on earth, I'm taking this.
I'm gonna play the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. It certainly was for a lot of people, wasn't it?
You got it.
That is mental.
There's no other company who's got this history and this. No, that is insane.
Wow.
Oof. Got you, didn't it? Got you.
Might need a minute there.
That's impressive. That's insane.
Yep.
Wow. Martin have definitely, you can't ever accuse Martin of, being a bit overly conservative with some of these things, can you? I mean, like, who even thought of coming up with a Leonardo da Vinci?
Yeah, and this
Acoustic
sort of
guitar.
stuff, and all of this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like,
This-
let's just do it.
Oh, and then you've got a Sex Pistols guitar in amongst it all. There we are, the only display cabinet in the world with Leo da Vinci and
Sex
Steve
Pistols
Jones
in the same.
next to each other. Wow.
Look at those tuner picks on this. Deluxe. Beautiful, isn't it? That's incredible. Oh, that one, yes. Remember with the... No, not good enough.
I remember. I think
Do it again.
that's the video. Do you remember when we
Yeah, we did
met?
that.
We interviewed Chris. That might even be the actual guitar because I don't
It
suppose
could
they
be.
made too many of those.
Yeah.
But this was.
I played
Yeah,
that guitar.
was the to celebrate the 2 millionth guitar.
And actually, here's a picture of me playing that guitar. Because I've got that picture
No,
still
you
on
have
my phone.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I remember rightly, it was crazy heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very heavy. And that is put on with rare earth magnets. So
That's right.
that pops out, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
And that's not just...
There are some elephants.
Yeah, just randomly. But that's, I think, there's thing. It's all about sustainability, isn't it? All of
Yes,
this.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
Martin, of course, had to do with the
We were-
X series, didn't they?
Carmen, we were playing Where's Wally earlier on here, trying to spot you. I think we spotted Fred. Is that you at the back there?
That's Fred there, yeah.
I think that's Fred. Where's Carmen? You
I'm
must
in
know
there
where you
somewhere.
are.
Yeah, that's me. That's pretty good.
I was going to say, I spotted
Surprised.
you
See
there.
my big head.
I think it's because you're sort of standing away from everyone and I could kind of just, but yeah, I don't know, I couldn't find Carmen.
Is
I
that,
used to
is
know
that
where I
somebody in a
was.
guitar outfit?
Yeah, it is.
He's called Fretty.
Is it Fretty?
brilliant.
Fretty?
Fretty is his name.
Fretty?
Yeah.
Don't tell me
know.
he does frets. That would be
Oh
the
well. And
ultimate.
I guess this is the team in the Mexican factory.
Yep.
Brilliant. God, a lot of people work for you guys, isn't there?
The countdown to 200 years.
That's mad. That
And then you
is
got the
mad.
250 millionth guitar, right? Which is the most recent one here.
And you're putting a display together for Joan Byers?
Lee?
What's
This
that?
is a 250 millionth
Oh yeah,
guitar.
yeah, I saw this one when we walked through. This is. I mean,
2.5 million, not 250 million. That's a lot.
yeah.
So yeah,
this
I'm,
would be if,
I'm all emotioned out here. 200.
this is the sparkly one, isn't it? So it's just 100%. It's what my wife would buy if she was here.
And this would go really well if you just bought a new Rolls
That
Royce
looks
with
cool.
the.
Is that a constellation or a random?
Yes, actually,
is a
it would have been the constellation pattern of what CF Senior would have seen as on his trip over from Marknikirchen. So,
Oh, no.
There you
there's
go.
a story
And there you
everywhere.
go.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I kind of, yeah. I knew it wouldn't just be.
No,
a
you
random,
can't- no.
No, someone has worked out what would it have looked like as CF Martins looked up in the sky, traveling over from Germany 190 years ago.
That might be Uranus there.
How to disrespect the 2.5 million guitar.
I'm. Come on.
That's brilliant. Oh dear.
Sorry.
Wow. It's weird. I'm sure that whole emotional thing was just like the whole place is this crazy encapsulation of just how unbelievably important the guitar's been to my
How
life and
important
your life.
Martin guitar has been to the
Yeah.
whole guitar
Yeah.
industry.
How important it's been to everyone's life who's
Yeah.
played the guitar.
Yeah. Or
You know,
violins or
yeah.
ukuleles or.
It's a bonkers thing.
Yeah,
to
and
think.
everybody that's been touched by the music that's created
Yeah.
by Clapton and whoever's played these guitars from,
Yeah.
from the,
It's really-
it's insane.
It's,
And you look at these people in their, the Beatles, and the people in their outfits there, and
Yeah.
all of these photos.
Sometimes
It's
I think,
incredible.
sometimes I think it's almost like you just have to,
Embrace it,
like
and
this,
it's music.
the selling bit, which is obviously what we do to make a living. It's just,
yeah.
it's irrelevant. It's like
It's irrelevant.
It's like it's the participating in it and the making the music.
The
with
inspiration
it.
of
Yeah,
that it
it's
gives
just
to people, not just playing it, but also listening to them.
Madness.
There's one story I would like to see if we can get. It might not be for camera. What happened to that guitar in the film?
the
What's
Kurt
that? Is that a
Russell
real
The
thing?
Hateful Eight, yes.
So it's the real.
So it's a real thing.
Yeah.
We don't have to go. That's fine. That's all I want to know.
Wow.
It's not
Yeah.
popular.
Well,
No, well, I mean,
let me tell you the truth,
'Cause I've
though,
never-
because
I've
it's not
never-
what you read.
Okay.
First of all, the guitar's not worth $30,000. That was all blown.
Let's just go back. So there's film, Hateful Eight. There's
Quentin
there's a
Tarantino.
scene in it
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Kurt Russell
just a-
has to smash a guitar up. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
Rapid smashing.
I assume that the production team are expecting there to be a cut, take the original guitar away from him, give him the prop, he smashes it up, except that he decides to just go straight through, there's no cut, and he smashes the original guitar up.
If I
Is that-
understand, yeah. I
That's
think
the,
that's
the nub of
pretty
it,
much
isn't
it in a nutshell.
And so
yes.
what was that guitar and how did
I mean,
that...
I don't remember specifically what the guitar was. It was definitely an issue for us. I mean, we lost one of our great
So you
museum
lent- you
instruments.
lent
We
the-
did.
the-
We
the
did.
film-
Obviously, it wasn't the most valuable guitar in our collection. I think some of the magazine articles
Yeah,
overinflated it
yeah.
a little bit. They did give us money for it, so they did pay us back for it. But again, we
almost
lost
what's the
it.
point?
We
'Cause
can't.
it's
What's the
irreplaceable,
point?
isn't
It's
it?
not like we can go back and rebuild another one or send it to the repair department. So.
I think this is like an 1890s guitar. Jennifer Jason Leigh, her reaction in the movie is to her.
Yeah, that's
That's a real
'cause
reaction.
he's
of her saying,
singing.
No. Like that's.
That's the
stop.
real guitar.
Yeah. And Tarantino says he liked the reaction so much.
Well, it's like the girl in
Yeah.
Jaws, isn't it? And the and the Tom Cruise thing where he breaks his ankle. You got to keep it in the film. To
Yeah.
be completely honest with you, if they cut it out the film, that's a total waste of smashing up a $30,000 guitar. At least they got a good shot out of it.
Yeah,
we
we
get
know?
it straight. I just wanted to hear this, that there was a
Yeah.
straight story. There wasn't just something that was,
Yeah.
Did
I
Kurt
know
Russell
it's-
ever apologise?
Nobody followed.
no.
That's shocking.
Kurt Russell seems like such a nice guy.
that the only person I think that actually ever apologized might have been Lemmy. And the guitar's right over here. So there's a guitar over here behind the case where it was loaned to Motorhead. smashed up and returned to us with, and they paid for all of it.
Never too late to say sorry,
And sorry,
Quentin
too, so.
or Kurt. Just saying. Just saying. Wow. I mean, thank you guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
coming out to Nazareth,
thanks,
Lee.
This is
Pete.
Thanks for
absolutely
the invite,
incredible.
the hospitality, for making great guitars,
Yeah,
for
thanks.
being nice people.
This journey couldn't have ended a better way.
It's,
could it?
it's yes. Wow.
Fabulous.
Wow. We're going to get heavily drunk this evening. And now with all of our friends from Martin.
No, thanks for
all right.
coming out, Lee.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's going to take Taylor. Please, everybody think of Taylor. We'll have a round of applause for Taylor. Yes, he has done a sterling job and has the hardest bit to come with about 700 hours worth of footage to edit. See you later.